Because the
No
grid
thanks.
is getting
The grid is
to
getting
its
gritty.
limit. The grid is getting gritty. so y'all stay cool out there. Be cool, man. Sit still and know that He is God. And pray that the AC stays blowing and you can be cool like the other side of the pillow. That's all I got for you guys tonight, man. Down the Blab, just 1/3 of Watch Me Develop podcast. Remind you, develop or die. End quote, repeat the line. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Deuces.
Oh, we're already rolling.
Oh, we're already rolling.
Oh, yeah, big. We ain't wasting no time.
Get it.
Rolling down the boulevard.
Got them good settings on Logic. If this crashes, I'm throwing this iPad through that TV. Just letting you know now. Sick and tired of it, Apple.
Don't do it, bloodbath.
I seen the guy that you guys were talking about for the first time.
Which one?
You so
Oh, Bonesaw?
Bonesaw.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Man, Randy
I seen the
Savage.
actual. It was an actual real clip on a reel. I seen it. I was like, so that's who they were talking about.
At this rate, I'm surprised your phone didn't pick it up and just like show you a bunch of Macho Man
Right.
reels.
So I meant to tell you guys that was actually a really good impersonation.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's really good.
Man, I used to watch him when I was a little whippersnapper. Liked his interviews the most with Mean Gene Okerlund.
3 minutes of playtime.
You're not going anywhere. Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Nah, Macho Man Randy Savage was my dude, man. I like that guy. It's funny because I watched The Rock's sitcom, The Young Rock, and like, dude, man, his life was so like incredible because when I was a kid, I was into WWF. I really liked wrestling, especially with the fact that at the time I was living in Sacramento, and so I was like, this is like my early beginning years. Mm-hmm. So living in Sacramento, and this was back when there was the Arco Arena, and so Arco Arena like regularly, WWF frequently went to the Arco Arena for their events and stuff like that, and so I actually got to go to an event one time. My dad, that's one fond memory that I have with my dad. My dad worked for the state, and somehow one of his coworkers or friends or something like that ended up being able to get us tickets to go, and we went, and it was cool. It was dope, man. I got to see like some old school wrestlers, man. So it was dope. Macho Man was there in the house. Roddy Piper was in the house. Iron Sheik was in the house. Demolition, Ultimate Warrior, all them cats.
What's your earliest memory of wrestling? Did you watch wrestling?
Shoot.
No,
Really?
I didn't. My cousins watched wrestling, but I always thought it was fake, so I didn't watch.
Attitude Era.
Yeah.
The Rock, Triple H,
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mankind / what was his other name?
What was his name?
Can't remember. He had like a whole like rebranding thing going on.
Yeah, because he had like a heck of regular name.
Mick Foley.
Yeah, something like that.
Kane. Dude, I remember those are the two shows. You know, it's gonna be funny. My mom, my aunt are gonna see this later. Those are the two shows I watched as a young kid. Is WWF that then turned to WWE and South Park.
Wow. How old were you watching those shows?
Heck of young.
What age? I'm trying to think what I was watching at that time.
Like 6.
6?
5, 6.
So if you were 6, what year was you born?
93.
93. All right, so I had to be 8. What was I watching at 8? Definitely Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Facts.
Facts. I was watching Powerpuff Girls too. You can pause that if you want to. But
Powerpuff Girls.
Heck,
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls. It was
Hey.
fire.
It was in that block of shows that was kind of like, well, I ain't gonna leave.
It was, bro.
There was no pause and then
It
rewinding
really
and
wasn't.
playing.
It really wasn't. And the Rowdy Rough Boys was on there too. They made an appearance every once in a while.
The who?
The Rowdy Rough Boys.
I have no clue who that is.
The male counterpart to the Powderpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Bro, whatever.
That was
Beyond
hard too, bro. Dexter's Lab.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette. That's all you can say. That's all you can say.
How you say? What's the memes that came out with Dexter? All the how you say that? Say that again.
He's like, both
I like your accent. Say that again.
What's that over there?
What's that over there?
right.
My cousins in East St. Bro, I was like, that's really how they be saying it too.
They be saying like the ers and
for sure.
It's for real, bro. It's for real.
that's
For
crazy.
real.
So how y'all doing, man?
Man, we gotta do proper introduction. We gotta
We've
do,
already been recording for 6 whole minutes.
6 whole minutes, man. We didn't even like address the people out there in podcast land, man.
They
Come
tuned
on.
in.
Come on, man.
You
look,
here, ain't you?
Look, we gonna do this the right way. We gonna start this the right way. What up, everybody, man? Welcome to the Watch Me Develop podcast. I am your host, Don the Blaptist, a.k.a. The Jote, a.k.a. West Coast Dad, a.k.a. Oz the Pappy, a.k.a. Yeah, you know what it is.
Mr. AKA.
Yeah, Mr. AKA. To the right of me, I got none other than media extraordinaire,
Hello there.
the man with the plan.
No. You gotta
John-
say, what's happening, baby?
Right.
He say that after I say his name.
my bad.
John Butcher Jr.
What's happening, baby? I'm on social media so much that didn't occur to me that's a New Orleans thing. So hey,
Saying,
I'm not
"What's
from New
happening,
Orleans.
baby?"
Yeah, baby is not mine.
Baby,
It's smooth, though.
baby, with a baby.
Tis what it is.
Yeah. And then to my left, to the left of me, got none other than Susun's finest, inventor extraordinaire, the barber of the Bay, Mr. Ergo Dog himself,
Oh yeah, brother.
Stephen Joshua Bomb.
What's up, family? Glad to be in the place with my brothers today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was you going to say, Josh? You was about to say something.
Yeah, man, I was gonna be oh so transparent. I already did it in the your live today, and your not the old dark, but yeah, no, it is dark,
Yeah,
dark and hot.
It's dark and hot.
It's dark
boy.
and hot.
Hot boy.
Yeah, but nah, man. Shoot, life has been busy in the Bonds residence. It's very lively. I'm gonna stop. Very lively in the Bonds residence. The girls are just growing up, constantly at it, having fun, but then also getting into it too. That's a trip to see, because I remember getting into it with my brother. So that constant sibling rivalry is live and in full effect. Nadia is handling business at the house right now. She's handling business at the house, trying to work through some systems. Got the girls doing homeschooling with Soul Ray, so that's cool. That's another thing to her plate, so she's trying to, catch the rhythm with that and roll with that. And then for me, I am still I'm still working towards being able to afford my and my family's dreams, and there are the vision that's been given to me to execute that, and is Ergo Dog, So every day I'm pulling levers, trying to figure out what's going to make this thing ka-ching, 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 right? And of course, also just help them see the value in the product that I have to offer. And honestly, bro, there has been crickets on the website lately. And there's so many aspects and levers. I'm at this fork of the road, and there's 8 different things that I can be working on. And deciding okay, which segment am I going to focus on right now, it's kind of been, it was overwhelming today, almost to the point to where it was like I don't know if you guys ever gotten to the point where you have so much to do, you just don't know where to start.
Of course.
You just kind of just.
All the time.
You just stay there, you just like, all right. So anyways, that was today was one of those days. And I was in that place probably for a good hour. But I did not stay there. Thank God I went back and hollered at somebody in my corner. Yeah, man, we here to put the good fight. Had to throw ergo on my chest today to remind myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, there's being the fact that I'm in the the shirt and logo design and just the idea business, man. Sometimes that's part of the reason what inspired me to start doing the shirts and stuff, man, because I look around and I see everybody wearing stuff and they wear stuff to make a statement, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that sometimes, like you said, you were going through it, you know what I'm saying? You're wrestling in your mind with stuff. You're being bombarded with the realities of your circumstance and your situation, but you're still fighting to remain strong in your faith and your resolve and to believe what the Lord has showed you about, your business and the thing that he's placed in your hand. And I'm a firm believer that, one of the reasons why I started making shirts and designing stuff was because sometimes you got to get it on you before it gets in you.
Say
you know
that.
what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to get it on you before it gets in you. I know a lot of people say, ain't about what's on you, it's about what's in you. But sometimes you got to get it on you before you get it in you. When you look in Scripture and you see when people were anointed for a task, right? That anointing was smeared on them before they knew that the anointing was going to be active and working in them.
That's good.
And through them.
That's
and so
good.
that's the same thing, man. That's why I do what I do, because I'm trying to encourage other people. And eventually, at some point, that's been, I think, my biggest challenge of late. I've been remaining as consistent as possible with the lives, man. They've been coming at all different hours, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, do not let 24 hours pass without offering some word of encouragement. And it's been a challenge in recent, the recent weeks.
Yeah.
I've been faced with challenge after challenge, man, that's like literally tried to discourage me, or like I didn't feel any type of encouragement, but I knew that I could say something encouraging to somebody. I had to dig and find it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, it's just like that sometimes. Sometimes you have to go look in the mirror and repeat it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Recite what it is that you know to be true over yourself. It's funny because the other day it just dawned on me that when I'm doing a live and I'm speaking into the camera and I'm saying I'm actually talking to myself because I can see myself in the camera. Right. So everything that I'm speaking to the people that may be tuning in, I'm speaking that to me, almost speaking it to myself in third person. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
So when I'm saying I'm actually talking to me while I'm talking to them at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's not just a word of encouragement that I'm finding for them, but it's like also a practice or developing the discipline of learning to encourage myself.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
Nah, yeah. That's crazy. What about you, John? How
Me,
you
bro,
been?
I've had an off day today too. Not bad. I feel like I'm definitely in a different place, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually than I was 4 months ago. But I definitely feel like, and I feel like the only way to really describe it is like, I know each of us has been up North Texas Street about 1 million times. The only way I can describe this phenomenon that I'm experiencing now is like, you've been up the street 1 million times, but it's a whole different experience when you have to walk up the street. And like, you see details that you didn't see before. And so I think that's what I'm experiencing right now. It's like, I'm familiar with all the corners. I know where everything is, but there are some things that I had never noticed before. And so I think the reason why I bring that up is because like the emotions that I have felt my whole life, I think I can identify them now and I can communicate them now. So for me, like one of the things I feel like the Lord spoke to me earlier this year was be present. And I don't know if it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you don't know if that's for your family, you don't know if that's for work, you don't know if that's for whatever, but I just felt like the theme that God gave me for the season of life that I'm in is be present. Only because just knowing myself, the temptation to think about tomorrow causes me to be anxious. And being present and in the moment with my friends, with my family especially, I'm starting to realize the value in that, especially in the season 2. Like you were saying before, Josh, my daughter started school. My son's getting bigger. We're kind of at a point in our lives where the dust is kind of settling, and I'm just like blessed to be here. And then also too, I kind of feel like kind of coming from a quote unquote valley season mentally, like coming from like my dad being really sick and everything. I feel like I'm on the mountaintop, but I also see the next valley coming. Like I don't know if it's necessarily mysterious in the sense of like I don't know what's coming, but I feel more prepared going into this next valley than I ever have before. And so it's not mysterious, but it's more so just like I don't know what's coming, but I feel confident in what I'm going into. Other than that, man, I'm doing good. Finances are fine. Taking care of bills. The Camry finally gave up the ghost just recently.
Really?
Yeah. The stuff in the can was working for all of 4 months. So if you want to give me my review online, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
It lasted 4 months.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I'm unfazed, but I have this confidence that I can't really attribute to myself. So I don't know. It's a really weird, awkward season to be in.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because the other day, the actual thought about being present came across my mind as well. You know what I mean? And I heard it pretty much in the phrase of be where your feet are. Right? You know what I mean? Be where your feet are. So I think that's something that you can also take with you because, like you said, you don't know what does that mean? Does it mean for this area of my life or does it mean for... But really, it's like if you just be where your feet are, right, then you can't go wrong. You're being present, right? But I think a lot of times what happens is we're always trying to play that... I don't like to say the balance game, but that rhythm game, right? We're always trying to maintain, we're always being challenged, our rhythm is being challenged, right? And so what ends up happening is, okay, the word I got was be present, right? Be present, so I'm going to be present. And then you become so present that you are having, you find yourself struggling to see past the circumstances that you're in. And then you're no longer future focused, but now you're being overtaken by what's exactly in front of you right now.
Yeah.
Right? Or on the other hand, you're like, man, fix your mind on what's ahead. You know what I'm saying? Be forward thinking. You know what I'm saying? Have foresight. Prophesy. All those things, and then you get so caught up in that now I'm not present with what's going on here. So it's like this constant rhythm, and I think the thing is that like it's just finding that rhythm of being able to go back and forth and in between, you know what I'm saying? Learning that when you think about rhythm, when you think about music, right?
Yeah.
There are parts where there's rests, right? There's rest. That's what gives us the dynamics in a piece of music. And so a lot of times because we're so caught up in what it is that we're doing rather than being, that we forget to rest, right? No Sabbath,
right?
So the thing is that we have to learn how to be comfortable with the rest. Just like we a lot of times get uncomfortable when there's silence, right? They say the awkward silence, but a lot of things happen in the silence,
right?
In the silence, right? That's that old Jason Upton song, right?
In the silence,
right? In the silence, a lot of times that's where God is speaking, man, and we have to learn how to rest. We have to learn how to be silent, and not always just trying to fill up the space with everything.
That's facts, man. Because even on a musical tip too, I've been having this conversation with Wisdom. And shout outs to Wisdom. She led worship all by herself last week. I came and accompanied her because I asked her, but She led worship during youth group. And one of the things I've been teaching her over the past year or so is just like, hey, listen, I make mistakes all the time. Y'all just don't know it. I was like, I mess up all the time. Y'all just don't know it. And I think that, like, that's kind of like a part of, like, being a musician is, like, not being so stoic and stuck to the song to where you're just like, oh, well, it wasn't played perfect, so that, you know, the song wasn't good enough. But it's like, dude, nobody knows but you and probably the other people that know you well enough. You know what I'm saying? But like you were saying, like, there's a time and there's a place for everything. Like, I remember being in band growing up and, like, being a drummer, you know, you want to play loud on every moment possible. But then when there are those moments in the music where you, like, for, like, a drummer, it's kind of not very often where you get, like, whole rest. But then when you get the whole rest with the number on top of it, that basically means you have 8 whole measures of this part of the song where you're not playing anything.
Doing nothing.
You're not doing anything. And so
just nodding your head.
You're just nodding and counting and keeping time. And it's funny that you're saying that. It's just like, you know, it's in the life of, like, a person that's an entrepreneur or maybe has a 9-to-5 or has a family or whatever. I think we try to find a term that kind of keeps us sane or keeps us happy or keeps us content. And for some people, that word is balance. What I realized is, and I'm just sitting here listening to you talk now, is like I traded the word balance for rhythm. And it's like ultimately is like, okay, what's going to be the next word? Like you go from balance to rhythm to, I don't know.
To homeostasis.
Homeostasis, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, it kind of seems like this, I don't know if I want to use the word unnecessary, but kind of like,
to unity gain.
Right, unity gain. Like this weird pursuit to, like, try to figure out how to get things perfect, and it never quite is perfect. You never quite catch your rhythm. You never quite have everything balanced, and it always seems like it's only for a season. And I'm not saying that in a way to be, like, not optimistic, but at the same time, it's like, what is it that we're chasing that, you know, ultimately is, what does it say in Ecclesiastes? Vanity is vanity kind of thing, like, grasping at the wind kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you look, if you look at it more so, like a ship, right? So we're talking about balance, and then also you got to learn about rhythm. You know, rhythm too is like rhythm and balance. So, in a sense, like you have to kind of learn how the wave is, how the waves are coming in. Like what is the sea like right now? And then, Lord forbid that a storm approaches and you're in the midst of a storm, and that has its impact on the waves and the way that the waves are affecting the ship. So there's going to be times where that ship, depending upon how big it is going to be tilted off, and you're going to have to try and figure out a way to stay on your feet, buddy. You're going to have to gain your sea legs, right? And so I think often that's what our lives are like when we talk about a balancing act, man, and understanding that sometimes that ship is going to be a sailboat. Other times it's going to be a battleship. Other times it's going to be an aircraft carrier. You know what I'm saying? It's going to is depending upon the situation you're in. That's what its purpose it's serving. And you just got to learn we got to learn to be comfortable and flexible with that, and understand that, you know, there's never going to be that perfect time, right? Something's always going to be kind of out of whack, and there's always going to be some type of odd that's going to be stacked against us. So that's just kind of like the life that we're called to, man, is when you just embrace the fact that we're called to do hard things. Yeah. Period. You know, an entrepreneur, I've been seeing like a lot, you know, I follow a lot of different entrepreneurial encouragement, you know, on social media and stuff like that, just to try and keep myself encouraged to stay the journey. And you know, there's a lot of opinions out there about what an entrepreneur is, and people have different, you know, phrases and stuff. But one that I heard recently that I didn't necessarily agree with was entrepreneur means I did it by myself. And I absolutely believe that's a lie from the pit of hell, man. It doesn't mean that you did it by yourself, because even if you're the only one that's standing on the platform at the end of the day with the end product, there are so many people that have come along the way that were brought across your path that helped you, whether it was the people that didn't help you, that helped you to get to where you were, you know what I'm saying? but nobody does it by themselves at all. I mean, am I delusional or
No,
or
you're not
what?
tripping.
Nah,
Like, even
not
if
at
you
all.
were in an endeavor where you were CEO, CFO, operating officer, everything, even if you didn't work with anybody, you still have people that you sell your product to.
Yeah.
And like, what about those first people that gave you a chance?
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about like the whole I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps kind of philosophy and like thought process. Is like, how prideful could you possibly be to think that you really think that you got here on your own? Like,
Yeah, nah, I totally agree. This reminds me of a conversation I had with the homie. He was like, "Hey man, do you ever think about like a seed being planted and like where does the tree like where do the materials come from?" You know? And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Bro, where do the materials come from?" He's like, "You start with the seed, and then out of nowhere, like this massive tree grows," you know, and he's talking about essentially how God makes the increase, like he gives the increase. And there's certain things that happen that we just cannot explain. We can't explain. We don't know what happens beneath the surface with the seed and how what the light in the sun, and the water, exactly what it does, but eventually it yields fruit, you know, and it produces a tree. Or we don't necessarily know exactly what happens inside the womb and how, you know, life is created. And I mean, scientifically, we can try to explain or account for it, but at the end of the day, it's a miracle.
Right.
You know, so no matter how much credit somebody wants to take for the end result, there was a whole lot of things that had to come together, you know, the right circumstances, the right environment to allow you to be able to be wherever it is that you are in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who says they did it on their own and or even without God, yeah, man, I don't know. I think you take you take a lot of credit and opportunity to shine light on the people that helped you get there, because you can't. There's nothing that you could do alone. And if you do it alone, it ain't gonna stand for a very long time.
right.
Yeah.
So you guys feel like the strength of the seed is more or less the product of its environment? Because I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm listening to you talk. It's like, of course, we can try to biologically explain how an apple tree becomes an apple tree, or how an acorn turns into an oak tree, or whatever it is. But ultimately, all the contents that sequoia tree, whatever kind of tree it is, had it in the seed already. It's over time, with growth, with resistance, with sunlight, with water, whatever was given to it, that it becomes that mighty oak tree. Do you think it's a matter of like if we switch from like kind of like the metaphoric to the literal, is it something that was already always inside them, or is it something that they could have learned? Like, for instance, a business idea or raising a child or whatever it might be. What do you guys think?
I think that God creates everything with purpose, right? He's given everything a purpose. There's a purpose for everything under the sun, right? So when we look at the whole encounter of the creation experience, right? We see that God created everything, right? He created the light. He created the darkness. He created, and people are, well, why would he create dark? Well, you need night, right? So, he created darkness. He created the light. He created the light that represents the daytime. He created the light that represents the nighttime and the darkness. He created all of the vegetation and all the seed-bearing plants.
Facts.
So the thing is that when he created everything, he already knew what its purpose and his intent for it, right? And so when we see a seed, we're seeing basically the beginning stage of what he doesn't look at the seed as a seed. He sees that seed as whatever it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we were in seed form, right? When we were in seed form, that's why he says, I knew you when you were in your mother's womb. I knew you before you were like even conceived. Before they knew your name, I knew your name. Right? And so it's just like that seed. It's like, I know that apple tree. that's going to be planted, at 780 degrees latitude. You know what I'm saying? He knows its address, and he knows what it was before it blossomed into what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just understanding that everything has a purpose. Like even our children have a purpose that we're not aware of. Like right now, I think Jericho's purpose is, to be one of the greatest, to be a future Hall of Fame football player.
Mm-hmm.
But God's purpose for him is so much greater than that, right? It's just what I can see in the telltale signs. You know that it's an apple seed because you got it from that section in the store where they sell the apple seeds at, or you saw it come out of an apple. Mm-hmm. That's how you know it's that seed, right? Mm-hmm. But if that seed were to be alone somewhere on its own, unless you're completely educated in the sense of knowing different types of seeds and everything, even those that are educated would refer to that seed as a certain type of seed, not as the tree.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I think it's really just a matter of time. Like, time is the distance between seed to tree, or a young chick to a rooster, or a calf to a cow, or whatever the case may be. It's really just a matter of time. But at the end of the day, there was always an apple tree inside the apple seed. It just wasn't a tree yet.
But it has to be deposited, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is it has to be, it is a matter of time, but the time doesn't matter if it's never placed in the position that it's supposed to be in.
Right.
So it was funny because I came across this post the other day. This lady was talking about, she showed a picture of a plant that she has at her house. Is somebody here?
I don't know.
Pause that. What are you doing?